around. Okay, so go live. I didn't realize I had to click it twice. It's thinking. I mean, we're actually live.
We live?
We're live.
We're just not live on Instagram. Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
We're live.
All right. Thank you, Susan. Okay. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight? First and foremost, before we get into the meat of the chat, I wanted to let everyone know, specifically the ladies tuning in, that we are going to have a whole group meeting this coming Thursday, the 8th at 4:30 p.m. Central. And then after that meeting, if you're in our email list, you'll get a cancellation notice, and then you'll get another email sent out with the new session from the womenofFWA@gmail.com email. So that'll change, but it'll still be the same, everything, meetings, everything going forth. It'll just be updated. Okay, so now the fun part. The title here is Working with Spouses, Working with Your Better Half. I really wanted to talk about this topic to see other companies. Obviously, me and Colby work side by side together in our company, and I wanted to see how everyone else does it too. So my name is Baylee. This is Colby. Yeah.
I'm Colby.
We are based out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with corridor residential fencing. And I guess I want to know like everyone's different roles. So I guess my roles, I'm kind of like a full-time installer at this point. But I do like a lot of our administrative stuff as well. And then just kind of like, I don't know, a little bit of everything. I've got my hands in everything at this point. What do you do, baby?
I mostly do all of our sales. Baylee comes and does estimates with me sometimes. And then all of the installing, and then pretty much every other hat. The one torch I've pretty much fully passed on to her would be like clerical stuff, like locate, sending out contracts, helping with communicate with people in our CRM and stuff like that. So she's definitely handles a lot of the office stuff for me. I'd rather be out digging holes in on the computer anyway. So
I would too, but that's fine. Okay. Heather, who are you guys?
So I'm Heather with Mr. Fence. We're based out of Evansville, Indiana. We also have a Superior location as well. And I run that with Melissa and Owen, but I also help with Mr. Fence. I dabble in a little bit of everything. I'm not quite as a rock star as Baylee, but my goals this year are to be a rock star like Baylee. I'm going to start digging some holes, I think.
Yay.
That's we're not.
Maybe with Superior.
We only pound poles.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot we're only supposed to pound now. But I love it. So I do a little bit of everything. I help with some of the bookkeeping when Shawn travels. I also help do a lot of the scheduling. And then there's Shawn. What do you do, Shawn?
I really don't do much in the fence company anymore, to be honest. Old. When I get my hands in it, things go south really quick. So we have people that do a much better job at it than I am. I focus most of my time on the academy and the tools side, trying to be clever and come up with innovative ways to make building fence easier. And Heather helps me with that tremendously, primarily trying to figure out the schedule, right? I leave tomorrow at 6 a.m., not even packed yet for 9 weeks on the road. Haven't started packing. But in order to logistically pull off 9 weeks on the road, we got to know where to park the bus, land the bus, where we're going logistically, who's going to be when and where. That's a lot of planning coming on. And so her job is to try to figure out the reservations, the tickets, the appointments, and I just get in and drive. I got the easy job. Talk about that.
So I guess my job's logistics.
Be a rock star in general.
Whatever. Tiffany.
Yeah, so ours is a little bit different. I am extremely new to the fence industry. I'm currently in material supply. I'm just learning, everything I can so that I can be in the best capacity to serve the industry. We did make it to Fence Tech together, which was a really awesome milestone as far as working together. our working together journey, we met at work. So we've literally worked together since day one. We've done lots of jobs together. We've had a couple of times where we were both on different career paths. Fairly recently, Zene has worked on the install. This is my husband, Zene. We do the arm thing. That's what he's been doing install for almost 8 years, and for the past 6.5, I was actually doing tax strategies for entrepreneurs. So understanding LLCs and corporations, how you can put them together via contract to mitigate your tax burden, asset protection. It's stuff that once I learned it, I was hooked on, but it turns out it's not really, familiar to the everyday entrepreneur. And I really thought I was going to do that for most of my life, but had a sudden change of heart and decided to throw into the fence industry with my husband. So in combination with the material sales, it's my goal to really become engaged and involved in bettering the industry, which I gotta say is a great industry. I'm already hooked. I love that we're just regular people passionate about what we do, and that what is being done is in fact a trade skill. It's not, I had somebody tell me anybody can start a fence company. And I was like, really? Because just in my studies, I found that there's a lot of nuances that come as far as installs go, let alone the business side of the fence company. One thing that I did learn previously was basically that with entrepreneurs, kind of one of the hangups usually is that they are a technician at a position. They feel like they know their spot well. They could maybe even do it better than the company themselves. So they go out, they start a business. And although they're a fantastic technician, they often miss that back end, bookkeeping, financial management, record keeping, just all the little nuances that come into business. So I feel like somehow magically fate has led us to this point where I have acquired the back end knowledge while Zene is specialized in the technical knowledge. And so although we're very fresh to introducing ourselves to the fence industry as those who want to be involved and make a difference and impact change, we're very serious about it. So you guys will probably, hopefully, see a lot more from us.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I love it. I love it.
You're absolutely right. Most people get in our industry as technicians, and they fall short on making it profitable. And so it becomes disastrous, right? As they just own themselves a job and work 100+ hours a week trying to survive. Well, that's a good point you make there. Zene blink twice a year.
This is also Zene's first time ever on a Zoom or live or.
He's rocking it right now.
He's doing great.
He just got off of a nice long day of installing fence, so you guys have to give him some credit.
Oh, it's good to have you guys. I'm really excited. I guess one of my main things is like for me and Colby, we're working like directly side by side in the field, and like whether it's like directly side by side like we are, or from like an administrative versus installation like aspect. I guess my main thing with this is like, how do you guys not bring work home with you? How do you not let maybe, you had a shitty day and now you both go home to the same house and have to like kind of, not necessarily dwell on that shitty day, but you know what I mean? Because sometimes it sucks out there. All right. Sometimes you do have an off day. Things maybe take longer. Something wrong happens. But like, how do we not let that affect us so much when we're off work, when we're off duty, when we're at home, when we're eating dinner?
I'm all ears. Tell us how we do that.
I am asking. That's what I'm asking. Yo,
I'm waiting.
I want to hear it.
Please tell me how that works.
I feel like it's a repetition because I feel like I've said this before, but it takes a lot of breathing, deep breaths, and sometimes
or running,
walking away.
Running.
Yeah, that's a big thing. It's like knowing when to be like, all right, we're putting it down and we're walking away. What happens when you have a fight at home about stuff? How do you stop from bringing it to work?
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, I have to say
it's the other way around.
We're definitely blessed in that aspect because personally we get along great.
Business-wise?
Work is harder for us. I don't know about you guys, but work is definitely harder for us, especially because he's so busy.
Mm-hmm.
And, finding that perfect boundary is hard. Like he's getting ready to go. I keep telling her he's getting ready to go on this 8-week sabbatical.
So as entrepreneurs that we're not in the corporate world, so family-run business, let's call it, it's 24/7 almost. It's hard to shut the phone off in the evening. You got team members calling, you got friends calling, you, people in the industry calling you, or texting you, or emailing you, or Facebook messaging you, clients as well. So it's I've never been one to believe that we can just turn the phones off at 3, 4, 5 o'clock and be done with it till tomorrow. Because if we do that, we end up with a catastrophic event in the morning. All the things you ignored, they come to fruition, and they rear their ugly head in the morning, where you better just take care of it. Even if it's midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, you'll see me send a quick text, quick email, messenger, because I don't want the drama, or I don't want the additional workload on top of what I got coming tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What did Chris still have to say?
He said you're not busy.
Oh, yeah. No.
Not busy or anything.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Phone is going 24/7.
Tiffany, Zene, what do you guys do? How is that for you guys?
In the past 10 years, I've been an installer for probably the best company I've ever worked for. My boss's kids that are going to be taking over the company here in the next 10 months or so. Just great people.
You might as well plug the name.
Butte's Fence is who I work for here in Pocatello, Idaho. I love my job. I've been an installer. I work in the shop. I help run a crew, or it just depends on what I'm doing that day. It's always different. Been really blessed in that aspect. I've just really love what I do. And I've been there long enough, and Tiffany has come around, and she brokered a company for wholesale vinyl that's kind of hooked to Butte's Fence. Again, it's one of my boss's kids that started a wholesale fence company. And Tiffany decided that, you know what, I think I'm going to start a sales company, and hired 6 to 8 people to help me sell for Adam. And I says, well, she has a question. I've been really blessed to be able to help her with whatever questions she may have. You have to be selective in some of the things that I say on how they go, because not everybody does the same thing. Not everybody uses the same materials. Not everybody uses this exact, rail ends, and
Even just different terrain via location has been a learning curve on my part.
Yeah, but I know how we do things.
Maybe tell them a little bit though, because where we've worked together forever, were we always really
So
great
the
at
first,
working together?
so we met, believe it or not, at a survey company that we would call people and give surveys to. That's how her and I met. And then we have what is called spud harvest here in Idaho. So we did a lot of spud harvest together.
It's like heavy manual labor farmers.
So her and I did that. Our anniversary would always be during spud harvest, and we always worked together. Spud harvest for the first 5 years, and if you know anything about spud harvest, it's some hard work. She got promoted to a piler operator, where we pile potatoes off a conveyor belt onto the ground in the cellar, and I would lay the pipe for her to drop the potatoes on. And we did that for 5 years together. And then I found Butte's Fence, and I've excelled in that company, and I've been working my way up in that company. And
I'll just say that, I'll go ahead and have the hard conversation. Promo Women of Fence panel at Fence Tech. But it wasn't always easy. For instance, during the potato piling harvest work, we're typically working 16, 18-hour days. It's pretty good manual labor. It's a harvest, so it's a stretch of 5 or 6 weeks of just going as often as the temperatures allow you to. And when I was operating the piler, I'm up on top of this huge pile of potatoes that I have to stack and make sure they're not going to all roll out the door. And he's laying pipe to kind of help hold everything in place. And there's several times where I have to communicate with him, but he can't hear me, right? I'll yell down like, hey, don't lay that pipe yet, or hey, something or another. And he'll yell back, what? And so that was actually a pretty great example, honey.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys realize how big this pipe is. This pipe is.
Yes, yeah, he was just busy.
I'm trying to imagine this. I have no idea what we're talking
It
about.
was a really awesome opportunity for us to learn how to communicate. You're communicating, Shawn. Brian's trying to get touched.
Me right now, too, Brian.
Ryan, you can't interrupt this call. Or take time.
Called twice. He just texted me. He's like, hey, demo days.
Music power.
Is you right now. Demo days. I'm like,
Lord Almighty.
But yeah, it was just a great opportunity for us to learn how to communicate, because in that sense, we literally couldn't hear each other. So we had to know, like, hey, when do we look to each other for communication?
Okay, so at what point did you get frustrated?
Yeah, I know we definitely got
How did you handle
frustrated.
that? How did you handle that? That's
Back in the day, we would fight it out, and I'm not proud of this, but I've got a firecracker temper, and so a lot of times us fighting it out looks like Zene going, what, honey? And me just mouthing off, pushing him in the chest, telling him all kinds of things, slamming doors. I've had a terrible temper in my lifetime, so he's been extremely patient in helping me learn and grow through my own things like that. But honestly, I think it just took constant dedication to communication. And I'll throw that word out 1,000 times because I think it makes all the difference. But nowadays, for instance, we've grown, right? So let's say Zene is installing and he has a rough day at work and he comes home and he's irritated. And maybe that same day, just out of a weird coincidence, I ran into some technical challenges or some people challenges and I'm frustrated. So I think we've learned to first just recognize each other. Like, whoa, he just walked in the door in a way that tells me he didn't have a good day. And there's a good chance, because I know I didn't have a good day, that if he snaps off at me, I'm going to snap right back. You know, so being able to identify that, I can be like, okay, wait, I'm going to be ready for it. So when he snaps off at me, I'm going to say, well, I'm sorry about that, honey. Yeah, right. Anyone that's been married for a decade or more knows. I don't feel like I'm giving up trade secrets there.
So the person that said yelling is normal. Yeah, it is, but respectful. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a respectful but stern tone when she says yelling. She doesn't really look at it. Well, sometimes she does.
I would say
Most
I
of the
did in the
time.
past, but we've been together for 12 years. So I got with Zene when I was 19 years old. I wasn't a full-grown adult yet. I hadn't learned my emotional intelligence. I hadn't learned boundaries. You know, yes, God bless our husbands for their patience. And he was perfect the whole time. I never had to be patient for him.
I've only had to hit her twice.
Stop. That's
funny.
Sorry, guys.
Let me change the subject, Baylee. So, okay, so you guys were having a rough, like the season was crazy, like, right, for a lot of people this year. And sometimes that stress can roll into your lives, right? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, that moment when you're scared because, like, we've been in this boat too this season, when the phones aren't ringing. Like, how are you guys handling that amongst each other and not bringing that to the rest of your family and, like, home?
I guess, for a little bit, it was scary. And then I think we were I guess I was kind of a little bit grateful that we could take a second and, like, breathe and just kind of be with each other. You know what I mean? Like, of course, the end of the season gets, you know what I mean, a little bit anxiety inducing, right? Because it's slowing down. It's getting colder. We live in very heavy snow states. So, it's going to change, People don't want you to put the fence up in the 12 inches of snow we just got. And then, but now it's starting to get warmer and their phones are ringing again. So I guess it's just that, like, that knowing that things are going to go up and down. This industry is a roller coaster. But again, with those slower times, then we get to, like, spend time with each other and hang out and cook dinner and, kind of
time to hang out. Just
relax.
We just cooked dinner the other day together. It was so great.
Our thing too is like whenever either one of us is stressed out. So if like one of us is like super anxious or like, everything's getting to us, like our biggest thing is we know we've always got each other, and we always like when we say to each other, we'll figure it out. We always do.
Mm-hmm.
So having at least one person that you can always rely on and tackle stuff together is helpful too.
Mm-hmm.
We call that co-pilot and pilot. Co-pilot and pilot.
I think what we're all kind of coming to realize is that we found our person, right, to do this crazy business with and come out successful. And then again, like you said, know when to breathe a little deeper, just step back from the stressfulness and the communication, letting the other person know when you're stressed out or when you're on 10, right, Tiffany? Letting I'm going to explode, and then figure it out from there.
And seeing you running.
So stand back, Zene.
Yeah.
So I feel like communicating that, it gives us the opportunity to say, hey, okay, like you said, you're on a 10 and I came in the door on a 10 too. So we need to immediately recognize we both had a hard day. And I think the instant that one or the other of us says, hey, it's been a hard day, no offense, I can't deal with any of this right now, the other one's instantly compassionate, right? Mm-hmm. Because we do love each other. We all care about each other. And that's why, like you're saying, you found your person. Zene promised not to get us canceled by coming on this live with me. So sorry about all of his jokes.
Yeah, I'm bad.
But that's who we are. Just on a daily basis. If you guys weren't here, we'd be calling each other names fun, I might say, hey, get in the sandwich and get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. You know what I mean? I might sass off like that. We don't really we maybe that's how we blow off steam a little bit is playful banter. Yeah. But as far as bringing work home, I'm with Shawn on that. There's really not any work not at home. I do work from home. I have for the last several years. Now doing the business, it's no different. You're on the phone constantly. We get our time in together. We have dinner together. We'll sit down and watch a movie together. It's just that maybe while we're watching a movie together, I'm also answering emails or shooting a text real quick, or you know what I mean?
I think we were blessed.
I love this.
We were blessed.
What's that?
I said you said playful banter because I always call Shawn names, and I'm like, that's what that is. It's playful banter. See? Right? And I'm going to tell you that now. That's my playful banter for the day.
And now I'm not the only wife calling you names.
Well, we were just blessed with good work ethics, I think. We know not to let anything, if we're having a rough day, we know not to carry it on to the next day. We got things we got to do. We got a job that has to get done. And we just, we don't feed off any negative energy. We feed off positive energy. Mm-hmm. Because she can blow off steam, and she gives me the grace that I could blow off steam, make me a sandwich. No, you make me a sandwich. You know what I mean? And just being able to really work together. I think we were just both really blessed with great work ethics to be able to understand, okay, it's just a day. Let's move on. Tomorrow's a new day.
And that might be a major part of it, actually, is the shared work ethic. I hadn't thought about it, but if one of us were grinding away trying to build a life for us, and the other of us were like, yeah, I'm pretty cool where I'm at, thanks, it would feel unfair, right? And it might create some kind of a rift. But I think I see it with all of us that are here on the call, at least we all have that kind of in common, is a shared understanding of hey, whatever trenches we're in at whatever given time and whatever obstacles are in those trenches, we're in it with the shared mindset of what we're building together and for each other and for future generations or however, the impact is.
And you weren't kidding about the 100 hours a week when you run a company.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we can be having to pause a movie real quick because she's got to write an email, or she works 16 hours a day.
Entrepreneurs are the only people that would stop working 40 hours for somebody just so they can go work 100 to 120 hours for themselves, but they get to pick which 100 to 120 hours a week they want to work. There's that.
Yes.
Time of day. You get that option, but you're working 3 times a
Freedom's
month.
amazing.
I never heard that last part of the
You
contract.
have the choice to pick. It could be midnight, 6 a.m., but God bless you, you get to pick those hours.
I've always just told the people I'm working with that I'm available 24/7. Like if you're up at 2:00 in the morning and you reach out to me and I'm awake, I'm going to be engaged. You know, it's going to be like, all right, now we're on a brainstorming call. Let's get it.
Yeah.
But if I'm not awake, kind of like you missed me. I wasn't awake that time. I'll get you as soon as I wake up. So, but I think it also helps to be passionate about what we're doing. And that's something that I also see from all the couples here. Like, when I have to be honest, when I first considered the fence industry shift, I wasn't really sold on it. I thought to myself that I'd been working with passionate entrepreneurs all day, every day. And how could I really find that same passion selling a product? You know, it was a very serious consideration for me because I'm passion driven. But I found that the fence industry is just chock full of entrepreneurs. You know, so as far as selling the product, every time I converse with somebody about their company and where they're trying to go with it or what project they're working on and how they're trying to troubleshoot it, it's the exact same thing I was doing before, in the sense that, entrepreneurs coming together to empower each other. So that's definitely what convinced us to jump on the call tonight and just get involved.
Baylee, did you and Colby start together right away? Or did you come in?
So I came in more like hands-on. Like I started doing our locates and our permits probably about like 6 to 8 months into starting everything. And then like from there, it kind of like gradually increased to what I was doing. And then I started like hands-on installing 2022, 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Beginning of the season of 2022. So that's when I was like fully like involved, like hands-on building things. But
she also had her job that she's had for 6 years now. That was a whole thing to convince her to take one foot out of there and put another foot in the company and trust that we're gonna make it.
So that's my question for the 3 guys, because we don't normally have guys on our lives, just for the record. But Colby, Zene, and Shawn, I want you to tell us how you feel about having your significant other working with you. No pressure, but just tell us. Remember, Valentine's Day's next week.
Who want to go first?
Or Zene.
So I guess the best thing I could say is
how you like working with me.
So the thing about it is Tiffany works. She succeeds, I succeed.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of how we started this out. If I succeed, then she succeeds.
Okay.
And that's why I've always been kind of the foundation. And I thank the heavens a lot that I got such a good company I work with to be able to help be the foundation in this relationship. Whereas, okay, you know how running a business is. You don't always get paid. You could get paid a lot later on down the road. But as far as being able to pay the bill man, it's just been something that I've been really blessed with. Being able to work with the company that I work with. I can't say enough good things about where I'm at to be able to help be Tiffany's foundation so that she can go out and branch out and be able to be the boss she's going to be one day. So, I mean, not that you're not a boss now, honey, but I'm just talking about, like later on down the road that we'll be able to soar and be able to do. And it's just been such an honor to be able to, do this for her. And I couldn't be more happy than where we are today on this journey together.
Awesome. Key factor right there. Colby, so we're going to have to wrap it up really quick because we're only left 30 minutes. So, but we might have this again. But Colby and Shawn, I want to hear what you have to say.
I think that in my case, it's been it's nice to have someone that I can rely is going to be there every day. And I know they're all into the company, because no matter, even if you have the best core players, you can't expect everyone to be to want your dream to live like you do. Or Baylee, she has just as much skin in the game, And as far as like struggles, you know, just like everyone else, I'm sure you've heard a million times from everyone else, finding reliable helps are not always the easiest. We've been working on building our team, so it's nice to have one person that I know that I'm not having to train from scratch every couple months. She's become a badass installer, and she can do pretty much every style of fence. I could leave her and someone to their own devices, and they'd build a beautiful fence. So I'm pretty proud of that.
One time I had to show him how to use the X-Men one time.
The new one. They're always used to the old one.
But I showed him how to use it. And I felt really proud of that.
Yeah.
Nice job. So proud of you for that.
Colby, that was good.
For me, I find myself constantly trying to make sure that I help with workload from Heather, and it's always for the best, right? So I like to take things on myself and not ask her to do things. I try to make sure that she's not overtaxed. But the reality is that's not the best way to have a partner. Be there to support her, but let her do what she's good at and stay out of the way. I oftentimes just take things on myself. And like, I don't want to ask you to do that because I figure you're probably busy and I can just get it done. The reality of it is that's not always the best way to do it. But I'm trying to get better at it.
So we're still work in progress. So like I'm trying to fly like an eagle.
Yeah. And I just run so damn fast. Sometimes I don't even think about like, maybe she already started that. Oh, well, I've already got it done. So next, move on. She's like, what?
I think we're always all going to be a work in progress, but definitely would conclude with the pros outweigh the cons, right? You got your person, and hey, we got married because we love each other. So the fact that we're spending more time together, don't get me wrong, like once every 3 months, we're both like, all right, let's go somewhere else for a day, but more often than not, it's a win that we get more time together. Also, we all know each other so well. That's why we're in relationships. So we have that kind of working dynamic you just can't get with another employee. So, really, somebody said power couples. I think any couple that figures out how to get into it together and build something together is giving themselves a great advantage in life and business.
Sure.
I love it.
All right. Well, I think that that's our time, isn't it? So Baylee, you're gonna finish us out there.
Yeah, I think it was a really good conversation. I'm super glad to have you guys on to chat about it all. A lot of good insight. But I guess one more time, the women of FWA will be having a meeting this coming Thursday on the 8th at 4:30 p.m. Central. Yep. And if you're on our email list, this next meeting will be on there, and then you'll get a cancellation notice, and it'll switch to a different email address. It's still going to be completely the same, but it'll just be a different address coming in. So don't be alarmed by that. But, yeah.
Hey, we should give our spouses a kiss. Good night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You guys have a great night.